Hey, welcome back everybody. We're getting ready to cut a new log here, and I want to show you a little bit how the process goes when we're starting the slabbing process on these logs. This is a pretty decent sized log. This was actually the top from the piece that I just slabbed before this, the big one. And this is a place where there was another section, and then this where it's split into branched out. So basically there's a crotch with a big stump on the top, on the bottom of it. But I want to show you what's the process of setting this up and getting this started for a cut. All right, so this is the log that we're talking about. It's not really long, but it's pretty wide, especially on the crotch over here, and it's fairly wide on the bottom here as well. So we have these rails that are from Grangberg, where the mill is from, and this is the mill. We have them set up lengthwise, but what's important when you set these up and when you start cutting is making sure that they are leveled across. So you want your saw to be leveled between this rail and this rail. And the reason is, you want it all the way through to the top of it, make sure it's level, because if you don't have it level, what will happen is you will have your slab will start like this on one end, and then it'll twist into this position or this position on the other end, and kind of making it a hassle and pretty much almost ruining the slab. The other thing that you want to pay attention when you start your cut with the mill, and that's the mill right there, is that you will be going straight in and kind of keeping this angle right here as close to a 90 as you can, keeping it straight all the way through, because there's, this log slopes down quite a bit, but that doesn't really matter as long as you go straight over here like this, you will be fine. But if you're gonna start right here and then your bar gonna twist like this, then you're gonna have potentially a problem as well, although not as much, because you'll still cut into it eventually. But it's best, especially on these first one, to keep everything straight, have a straight cut. Then later on the next cut, you obviously will have a much wider surface that you're going to be following, so it will be more of a straighter cut. Anyways, so these are kind of the little tips and the way these work. These have little screws that are in there, as well as the nail down. I actually had to add a 2x6 just to raise it a little bit, not to have it too big of an incline and not to cut into it. Even though with that, I still am going to cut a 6-inch deep slab, or first, some people call it jacket cut, just the first cut of it, the half round. This will be 6 inches from here, which will actually, I'm sorry, I have it 9 inches, so it will be roughly right over there, which is pretty good. So we'll get to cutting, and I'll show you what it looks like once we open this up. This is the exciting part, because you're gonna see what the log actually looks inside. This is the first time anybody will be putting their eyes on it. All right, so look at this. I got the jacket cut all finished, taken off. Most of this stuff here, as you can see, that's mainly sapwood, so it's mainly wide. But what I want to show you is this part right here. If you saw when I was cutting, there's one point I went and adjusted the rail, and the reason I did that is because of all the vibration. One of the screws got loose and this end got lowered, so I adjusted it and then worked back and forth and kind of made it straight. But you can see how much higher this went. I mean, it went probably a good 1/8 of an inch higher, if not more. So it's okay. I'm okay with it because I'll be cutting these into I'm not sure, maybe like 3 inches, 3.5 inches. And since it's the first one and it's mainly sapwood, once I start flattening, I'll just have to be careful as I cut. But as I start flattening it, when it dries, I'll just flatten this side, you know, take the white wood off of it, which will give me more of the brown coloration. But this is what happens when you cut the jacket off and you cut mainly into sapwood. You can see the color differences. Now, if you let this sit like this log to sit like this for a couple years, it's been here a year actually since I cut down, and you can see how it started, all the color started going into the sapwood and coloring it, but then you won't have that clear definition. When I cut this in further, you'll see that there's a clear definition of sapwood and white and the dark wood. Now, if you remember that big log when I cut, there wasn't much of that at all. I mean, there was not any sapwood here. All of it was just dark. So, and it naturally colored like that. There's very little light wood on there, if any at all. So that's what happens if you let the log sit out like that. So I've been working on that log yesterday and today. Got some cuts into it. I got 3 slabs that are on the side over there, and I'll show you what it looks like right now. 3 cuts down. It's actually a really beautiful piece of log, and gonna make some interesting and beautiful tables. So this is probably the widest spot right here on this. The piece before this was the widest cut. I mean, just look at this beautiful grain in it. Just fresh cut, but it's 56 inches wide on the bottom, on the widest spot right here. It's where it crotched out, but it's pretty wide over there as well. It's probably good 40, around 40 inches, but I'm just loving this grain in it, the pattern. I mean, if you cut this slab, once it dries, just make it straight from this point up to here, and take out this particular piece has some bark that's enclosed in the middle. Hey Zep, can you move? Zep, bark that's enclosed in the middle here, so that would need to be removed. But filling this, putting some bow ties on here and filling it with epoxy would make great looking tables. I'll show you the other 2 pieces or 3 pieces that have been cut out of it. Got them sitting right here. They're gonna be set up to dry over there. But this is the first slab. I made them 3 inches wide. So this is what it looks like as well. This is the second one. I mean, it starts having some bark in it, a lot of sap, or some sap in it, not that much, but has a lot of texture in it and nice looking wood in it. But this is the piece that's removed from there. So they're gonna be beauties. Gotta dry them for 3 years now, and maybe 2.5, and then they'll be ready to be worked with. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope this little video give you some information on how to make this, the first cuts on these slabs and making them flat. Got probably 2 more cuts from this log, then gotta stack it, get it all stickered for drying, and then got some more wood that I need to cut behind me. So give us a thumbs up, follow, subscribe to our channel, and we'll have some more cuts, some more woodworking and other videos coming up.